Trapped in a pitch-black bathroom, the silence was broken only by the sound of heavy breathing just outside our stall. We knew he was listening, waiting. I was 16, a junior in high school. My class was in the basement, a creepy place with no intercoms. I'd finished a quiz and texted my friend, JJ, to meet me in the bathroom. We were joking around for a while when he checked his phone. His face went blank. "Lockdown?" he whispered. We grinned at each other. Neither our teachers nor anyone else knew we were out of class, and with no intercoms down here, we had free run of the school. The perfect chance to explore the empty hallways. We crept up the stairs, and when we opened the door to the main floor, the hallway lights were off. All of them. Just a faint glow from the lobby at the end of the hall. This wasn't a normal lockdown. This was serious. JJ took a nervous step out, and I followed. Then he froze. "Who's that?" A figure was emerging from the deep darkness of the hallway. As it got closer, we saw it wasn't a teacher. It was a man dressed in ragged clothes, moving with a strange, shuffling gait. A bum. We turned and ran, bolting back down to the basement, sure he had seen us. Both classroom doors were shut and the lights were off. We couldn't go back in. We had to hide. We darted into the bathroom, shut the door, and I flipped off the light. We crouched in the back corner of the last stall, completely still. No vent, no heater, just the sound of our panicked breathing and a slow drip from the sink. The silence was unnerving. Then, the bathroom door creaked open, and a sliver of light from the hallway filled the room. It was only there for a second before the door shut again, plunging us back into darkness. We tried to control our ragged breathing, our hearts pounding against our ribs. The silence returned, but not for long. We heard footsteps, slow, deliberate steps, moving across the floor toward our side of the room. They stopped right in front of our stall. The sound of heavy, rasping breaths filled the air. They were so close. I could almost feel the person's presence just outside our thin metal door. My mind screamed at me to stay silent. But JJ did the worst possible thing. He leaned over and whispered, "We have to crawl out through the other stalls." The whisper, in that deathly quiet, was deafening. The heavy breathing stopped. The person outside pressed hard on our stall door. We scrambled, crawling under the divider to the next stall. The door we had just left rattled violently as the person started banging on it. We moved again, to the next stall, then the next. We finally scrambled out to the far side of the bathroom. The banging was relentless. We burst through the bathroom door, and in the light of the hallway, we saw him standing there. He had his back to us, trying to force his way into the stall we'd just escaped. We pounded on the nearest classroom door. JJ's teacher let us in, a look of pure terror on his face. He slammed the door shut and locked it. JJ frantically told him what happened, and I heard him add something about seeing a gun. I hadn't seen one, but I didn't correct him. The students inside, usually loud and joking, sat in a silent, concerned group. Then, a loud bang on our door made everyone jump. The man was looking through the door's window, trying the knob. After a few more frustrated bangs, he finally walked away. We waited for what felt like an eternity, an hour of silent dread, before we were finally escorted out by cops. I'll never forget the feeling of being hunted in that school. It was a stormy, dark day. The call came over the radio. A lockdown at a nearby middle school. A suspicious-looking man, dressed like a bum, had just entered through a back door by the boys' locker room. I pulled up and found a white van parked right by the door, empty and locked tight. I opened the red door and stepped into the gym hallway. All the lights were off. The whole school was an ocean of blackness. I drew my flashlight, its beam cutting a thin line through the dark. I moved slowly, my heart thumping. I heard whispers from a woman in the front office. "Check the boys' locker room. Be careful, he might be armed." The words felt heavy, the air thick with dread. I called for backup, but I was alone for now. As I approached the locker room, I could hear a low hum from a vent, a quiet white noise. But beneath it, a different sound, a faint scratching, a metallic ding, coming from inside the locker room. The hair on my neck stood up. Every instinct told me to make my presence known, to shout, "Police!" But I couldn't. I was too scared. The tension in that dark hallway was a physical thing, pressing in on me. I held my flashlight in one hand and my gun in the other, and crept forward. The dings and scraping sounds seemed to follow me, always just out of my light's reach. I was at the far end of the room, near the bathroom door, when a sudden, thunderous slam made me jump. It came from the football locker room, the one with lockers 3 times the size. I aimed my flashlight, my hand trembling. I finally found my voice. I yelled, "Police!" A muffled cry for help answered me. It was faint, but it was there. A desperate, terrified sound. The boy was pounding on a locker door, and I realized he was trapped inside. My stomach twisted into a knot. I told him I'd be right back, yelling into the radio for a key and for more units. I sprinted back outside to the van, but it was gone. He had vanished into the storm. I ran back inside, frantic, and found a teacher with a key. We unlocked the locker and let the boy out. He was bleeding from a gash on his arm. The man had held him with a knife, trying to force him into the van. A week later, a patrol unit spotted the van. We found him and arrested him. But that feeling, the one of pure dread in that dark hallway, the panic of hearing that muffled cry for help, that's what stays with you.